Oh, Jesus, here we go.
There you go. Go on the
Here
fuck. Jesus Christ, where we go. Sorry.
You hit the
Well,
record
folks,
button.
it's
I don't
that
know.
time of the week yet again where we have the ultimate circus that is the Irish Rugby Banter Chat. So joining us this week, as always, we have a number of our usual contributors, and we have a special guest in Ray Gallagher, an Ulster fan. So there's Peter Burke with his can of Heineken. Matt is looking splendid as always. Claire's there, all in white, and we have a particular Kerry man who, you know, if he says something, you understand it. Well done to you. Guys, normally what we do this week, just for those who aren't necessarily familiar with what we do, we talk, basically sit around, talk a bit of shite, abuse each other, and the rugby kind of gets in the way as well. So that's kind of why we're here. We'll start off with last week's matches, and I suppose given that we have an Ulster man on board with us this week, I'm actually going to leave that Ulster match to last because we want to have a bit of a discussion about what's going on with that particular team. So I'm going to start off with the Ospreys and Leinster match. That was a away match for Leinster at the Liberty Stadium. Matt Boland, did you see the game?
We did. I watched it. Yeah, of course I did. I was very frustrated in the first half. Obviously, you know, being Ospreys, they're not the best at the moment. And being honest with you, I thought we would have just trounced them. To be honest, you know, I said last week a third Leinster team would have beaten Ospreys. Well, it looked like the third team turned up anyway and didn't play at all. I was very disappointed in the halves. Cormac Foley and Harry Byrne, I think they both had a particularly bad game and not really representative of themselves. They're normally better than that, you know. I just think maybe the weather was a factor, or, you know, just that last kind of in the attack, the last kind of magic in play or simple kind of knock-ons, and it was just messy, and it seemed to be a lot from Harry. A lot of the turnovers that he gave away seemed to come from him. Now, look, you know, maybe it was just a bad day at the office for him, but they visibly got better when they were substituting in the second half. You know, they were never really off the pegging much. I think they were down by 10 points at some point, halftime or whatever. But as soon as the two lads were substituted, it just changed, you know. And Leinster did come back and won, which was what I wanted. So I was, in that respect, I was better. I was happier with the second half, but disappointed in the two halves. That's pretty much.
Now, gentlemen, sorry, Pete, we have Monsieur James Grennan joining us.
Hi, James.
Oh, for God's
Evening
sake.
all, how we doing?
Because he missed the initial fucking invoice. He missed the fucking invoice.
I
There you
don't
go.
know, internet.
There's plenty of change in the meter now, has he?
You
Have you
screwed it
put your,
up
have you
again.
put your 50 back in the fucking meter, James? Have you?
Yes, I have, but we have thunder and lightning here. We have serious thunder and lightning here. You screwed up the invoice again, didn't you, Pete? Come on, come clean.
Screw up fucking anything. I have a group invoice that I sent to all of you. You would have got about 2 or 3 now at this stage because you're.
Can I just say something as the host?
Go on.
That it's fair to say that James Grennan is the Irish Rugby Banters Chat version of Theresa Mannion.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd get that in at this.
That's
Don't
very
make
good.
unnecessary fucking journeys. That's all I can say. That's going to be James Grennan's motto.
The weather in Galway
for this edition.
the weather in
Holy
Galway
Jesus, Jesus, getting the fucking excuses in early doors.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that, Pete.
Away with the banshees of Inisherin with you. Go on, or that.
Go
the
on.
weather in Galway is like, oh, can you hear me? You can.
Yeah, we can hear you, unfortunately. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can't hear
How are you doing, Ray? Good to see you.
Oh, good. As good as can be.
The weather in Galway this evening is like a small baby. It's wet and windy.
Oh, we don't care. We don't care.
It's the West. What do you expect? It's always like that.
Yeah, there you go. Go on. Sorry, Pete. Go on. Go on.
Usual excuses when Connacht don't fuck it with. Oh, it's wet and windy. Come on, give us a break. Anyway, Claire, the match in the Leinster match against Ospreys. Did you see it?
Nah, I seen bits, but I was trying to watch it on the phone when I was coming out of my own match. I will agree with what Matt said. Harry, we know how Sarah loves Harry. He's
Sure.
yeah, he wasn't great.
No, he was shy.
Take the win. We're still undefeated in the URC, so take it as it comes. Know what I mean, a bad win is better than a good loss.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'll take it as it is.
Right. Okay. Peter Burke.
Yes. How are you?
Do we have to?
No, but they don't have to, but you know. But,
It's kind of his pet. It's kind of.
sorry,
Anyway.
what was the game, Pete? We're talking about?
The Leinster match.
Yes. Yeah, good. Leinster had a good first 40. Osprey certainly didn't fucking sit down. They certainly put it up to us. We struggled middle of the park for some reason. I don't know why. We struggled in the scrums, which is amazing. Although Osprey's scrum, Osprey's 1-8 is a good. That's no mean feat. I thought Keane Healy on his side of the scrum was a bit off, but although it was Alatoa, as you look back on it, it was Alatoa's side that the scrum penalties were given on. He was given in, he was driven down, elbowed down, the ref gave it. I don't know, it was a tough game. It was never going to be an easy game, although last week I think it said it was going to be an easy game for Leinster. But I mean, the Ospreys were up for it. They were at home, they were up for it, and they certainly put it up to Leinster. And it wasn't an easy game, and I'm just glad for the win, to be honest with you. Ringrose, superb. There's a few other players. Conan was absolutely immense. I mean, Conan, as I've said, you saw the post. I mean, Conan is superb. Great ball carrier, great line breaker, great tackler, and yeah, there you go.
Okay, Ray, did you see the game?
Yeah, no, I watched that game. I would want to use that game as an example later as the difference at the minute in Leinster and Ulster. Is Leinster a team that did not play well but find a way to win, and Ulster at times playing well but find a way to lose? It's the difference in a great team and a Ulster team at the minute.
Okay.
Peter says, I think the Ospreys really put it up front to say one day they matched them, but in the backs, I think Ringrose just was the best I've seen him in a long time. Leinster get the win on the road, and that's what they want. Move on. Draw a line under the performance. They'll find things to learn from it and just move on.
Fair enough. Good comment there. James.
Yeah, I saw the game. Entertaining enough affair. I thought it was going to be very one-sided, but yeah, Ospreys certainly give Leinster a bit of a scare. Oh, we've lost Peter Burke. Oh, how
you haven't. No, you haven't. You will never lose me, James. You will never lose me.
Lost Claire.
No, Claire logged off because she was getting a terrible echo on her phone. So I said log off and log back in again. That's all.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, Ospreys, yeah, they made a good account of themselves, albeit at home and everything. Yeah, enjoy the game.
Okay. Nothing else to add on that one. No.
I enjoyed the game. I'm in a good mood this evening, Peter.
All right, okay, fair. Okay, go on.
Mr. Brosnan.
Took Leinster an hour to wake up and get into that game, but once they did, Ospreys didn't stand a chance. But Ospreys are like that. They're good for maybe 60, 70, maybe 60 minutes, 60 odd minutes. After that, they just tail off. And Leinster had the substitutes to make the impact. So that's where the game was basically decided. Leinster just took the pressure early, off they went. Not surprised they won.
Right. No, I saw the game myself. Much of what along with everybody else has kind of said, it was very, very scrappy, poor stuff from Leinster, an awful lot of mistakes. It seems to me that particularly Harry Byrne was kind of felt under pressure, I suppose, to perform, and hence mistakes came. I thought Ospreys actually fronted it very, very well, and were causing a few issues to Leinster. Their centre, who ended up with the player of the match, man of the match, and thought he was probably worth it. But look, the change in the halfbacks, bit more calm. Basically, it wasn't so much. It was one of those kind of mental things, really, where, you know, there's a bit more authority came on at half back. It seemed to be a question that the lads said, right, let's just take 5 seconds, breathe, and let's do this. And, you know, there just seemed to be a bit more authority at half back, more direction in the game. Passes stuck, phases went through, and I think I mentioned it previously on our page that Hugo Keenan try was just a result of everything knitting together as it should, and it looked very, very easy in the end. Look, that's not an awful lot to say, as Ray has kind of alluded to. Like, you know, good teams will find a way to win even if they're playing rubbish. So I suppose, look, that's what we ended up with.
Just when you mentioned Bird, can I ask you a question? As Leinster fans, do you think he's feeling a little bit of pressure with the potential injuries to Sexton and the potential that he could end up starting in the Six Nations and trying to push the envelope a wee bit too far because that opportunity could be in front of him?
You shouldn't start in the Six Nations.
No.
You shouldn't be in the Six Nations.
No.
You should be banned.
Yes, he should be.
Well, I would say banned.
Ban him.
On a stand downer, he shouldn't be in the Six Nations. I think we all agree on that one, don't we?
No, that's sort of my question is, do you think that Byrne kind of pushed the envelope a bit in that game because he felt that he was trying to make a good account of himself going towards a potential start in the Six Nations?
I think you have a very good point there, Ray. And I kind of touched on this last week. Like, you know, I'm fully made up my mind that Sexton should sit this out. It'll do him no harm, especially coming up in the run up to the World Cup. Last thing we need is him messing himself up. And let's be facing it, he's in the twilight now. Injuries take longer to fucking heal up and all that sort of stuff. So maybe you're right in saying that, like, the pressure of starting at the 10 and he's trying to force his way into the Ireland team for the Six Nations, that he just made a bad account of himself, making silly errors. But again, you'd rather him do it now. You know, let him play for Ireland, let him stand up, let him play in international rugby. That's the only way they learn, you know, and we can't always be relying on Sexton. We all know that. He's going to be gone after the World Cup anyway, so they need to start playing other play hats.
Then that would be my next question, especially to Leinster fans, is like, after, you know, having that pressure put on him and having that chance to make an account of himself and putting in the performance that he did, do you think is he still the front runner to be starting if and when Johnny isn't there for the Six Nations?
No.
Well, I'll say to you, Ray. Sorry, we're a mouthful of peanuts. Right?
So dignified, Peter. So dignified.
I don't give a fuck.
You know that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Mom, will you?
I would say, all right, okay, Jesus Christ.
Spit it out, for fuck's sake.
As we always say, Ray, you wouldn't want to be sensitive. You wouldn't want to be fucking sensitive on this fucking show. I would say to you that I agree with Matt. I agree with Peter. Agree with Danny, although he hasn't said it yet. And I agree with James and Claire and all that. Right? Sexton should not be involved. If I in the Six Nations, if anything, he should be a bench player for the last 2 games, England and France, maybe. But we need it for the World Cup.
Yep.
A good fit Johnny Sexton inspires every single Irish team.
Absolutely.
And Ross Byrne, Crowley, Carby, Carby shite. But it needs that. No, but it needs that. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, Ross Byrne, bring him on, let him play Six Nations, start him every single game if he's not injured. Bring Johnny on, bench. My God, I'm getting such an echo here. Has someone got a speaker on? Who's got a speaker on? Has anyone got a speaker on?
that'd be my question answer is, after that game, you're still thinking Ross for starting the Six Nations?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'd
I'm with
agree
you.
with
Like,
that.
I don't think anyone has stood up as much in the last number of games, and he has, one bad performance shouldn't cut that down for him. I think he's been.
That was Harry Byrne, right? That was Harry Byrne had a
Sorry,
shit game.
Harry. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think Ross is the forerunner and should be given the chance.
Yeah, I think the issue, and this has been kind of raised, and we've discussed it here on previously, is that Ross doesn't give a running threat.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'd say of all the other contenders for the 10 jersey, he's the best kicker from the placed ball. But as regards an attacking threat, if he's basically going to take the ball up to the gain line, and maybe have a pop himself, have a go himself at running, he's certainly not. He doesn't do it. There's an element of predictability in Leinster's game when he plays, because he doesn't basically make the opposition. They know what's going left, or they know not to look at him even.
He's not sitting down the 12 and
he's not sitting. He's not exactly. He's not making them. He's not making basically, as you said, Ray. He's not sitting them down and making them think, "Hang on, will he or won't he?" On the other hand, the likes of Crowley, and we've been saying this for a while. Like, his first instinct is to run, which is extra. Like, he will run all day. Like, he basically, that's his first thing. He's like, you could argue that's perhaps like he's been too selfish, but by Christ, he gets, he'll get the he'll get the attention of the opposition defence.
Look, there's no doubt about it. Like, Sexton commands the team when he's there, and when he's captain, and he gets his players motivated. He fucking commands them to do what he wants to do, and keeps the cohesion and the tension and the pressure up. There's no doubt about it. But like, we're never gonna have that again. Do you know what I mean? So like, the lads need to just play.
We said that after Ronan McGarr as well, though. We said we'll never have it as good again, but there we got Johnny. So who knows who's...
Yeah, look,
there's a difference
it's swings and
there.
roundabouts. You're going to get two, maybe three good in a row, and then you'll have fucking nobody, and they'll be shite for fucking decades. Do you know what I mean? But like...
But I think you could see
there's no other way.
Johnny right from the very start. Like, from the first times he started coming on after running, like he was pushing the envelope right from the very start. And he made a case for himself from the first time he played, where I don't think in this generation anyone, arguably, and don't cut my head off, since maybe Paddy Jackson has kind of played in the same way and made as good a case to themselves.
It's only a matter of time before he mentioned Paddy Jackson.
Yeah.
There was a number of people on the page during the week making the point
Who has
that
17 minutes?
What?
Who has 17 minutes?
What do you mean? That's 17 minutes?
On the bets for Paddy Jackson.
Go on.
Well, there was a couple of people on the page making the point that the IRFU have chosen that Joey's the successor to Johnny, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that's
No, it's not. Certainly not.
No.
It shouldn't be. It
I-
definitely
it's far too brittle.
I think they wanted him to be the successor. I think they did want him to be the successor, but when he got to Munster, he kind of fucked up.
they ruined him down there.
Yeah, they sent him to Munster to get game time, and then he started getting injury after injury after injury, and I don't think it has worked out the way the IRFU hoped it was going to work out.
I think
Most players who go to Munster fucking end up on the fucking...
Should have sent him to Connacht. Look at those Leicester boys that have come down to us now. How well they're doing. We've
Absolutely.
we're getting the best out of them.
I said nothing about Connacht. So you're always having to go me about fucking Connacht. I said nothing about fucking Connacht.
You didn't have to, Peter. We all know what you're thinking.
You're like a supergrass pork. You're hearing things that never even happened at all.
The voices in his head.
There is voices are in his head. There
I'm
are
sure
voices.
you
It's the
can.
voice.
I'll draw that
Well,
little
if
sketch.
it's for this period in mind, you're watching, you can grab it.
Great dreams of reality. I'll draw that for you again, will I?
Guys, we'll move it on. All right. Do you know what we can do? We'll come back to. I think we'll come back to the 10 discussion maybe if we have time later. I'll move it on anyway.
Well,
Munster played the Lions, and they hammered them.
We've lost, Burke.
no. I'm here.
Unfortunately,
Oh, I'm saying here.
No hand signals.
Am I gone?
No,
No, you're
unfortunately.
still
In the head, yeah. You were never
Yeah.
there.
Go on. Fuck off.
Claire,
Is
are
he
you
ever
there? Munster
Yeah.
game.
No.
In fairness, I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I thought the lines were I certainly didn't think a 30-point win was going to be for Munster in a lovely sidewards rain. I genuinely thought it would have been closer. I think Munster got jealous of Connacht's weather and robbed it on them because it was atrocious conditions. It was atrocious. But yeah, I didn't, again, as I said, didn't really see much of the rugby the weekend.
You were too busy playing it, so we'll
I
excuse you.
was too busy. I was too busy not getting barred from the underbelly of the Aviva and using the changing rooms in the Aviva. So
All right. Okay. All right.
Memorable stuff, Claire.
Just let me
Memorable stuff.
and I took the photographs to prove it because Brookie didn't believe me when I said it.
Yeah,
I just
there you
said Pixar didn't exist, or it didn't happen. That's
Yeah,
all.
so he didn't believe me.
Yeah, I know. I saw them. They were great. They're fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. Well done.
Okay, and anyway, sorry. Yeah, no, I thought the Lions would have put up a bit more of a fight. Didn't think there was going to be a 30-point spread on them.
Yeah.
But well done, Munster. You're still in the bottom half of the table.
James.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw this game. It was surprisingly one-sided. What was the winger's name that ran through the whole Lions defense there, or the what you call it? He ran through the whole defense. The winger. What's his name? Coombs. Yeah.
Coombs, yeah.
Right. He had absolutely no right to get through those that many players and should have been tackled. And the number 9, what's the number 9? What was his name?
Patterson.
Great little, sniping try there. Again, gap opened up. The defense was absolutely piss poor. But yeah, look, you play what's in front of you. Well done, Munster.
Yeah, that's probably fair. That's probably fair comment. And that's probably Patterson's probably an example of a Leinster player who's actually somewhat improved since he went to Munster, purely because he's getting on the pitch. But there you go, Peter Burke.
Yes. How are you?
The Munster game.
What about it? It was great, fantastic. Well done, Munster.
He's still on his period, that lad.
30 fucking point win. Brilliant. Well done.
Right. Okay, Matt.
I didn't see the game. That's the only one I didn't see of the weekend. But I kind of knew Munster would have that no bother because, as I said before last week, Lions were the lower of the 4 South African teams. They're the worst of the South African teams in the URC at the moment. So now, in saying that, I didn't think they'd beat them by 30 points. But look, they got the win. That's all they could do.
Sure. Fair enough. Ray, did you see the game?
Yeah, I watched it now, and I'll be honest, I fancied Munster for a decent win in this, since the Lions haven't travelled well in the west and the south of Ireland, in recent years. So I kind of fancied them to win, but as I say, not by 30 points. But as Peter says, you play what's in front of you. A good win. They went through the systems, they played what was in front of them, and they won. Job done.
Sure.
Move on.
Okay.
Big fucking walk to Munster. Brilliant.
Anyway, speaking of Munster, Danny.
Yeah. So second half, most of the second half of that game, and I'd say the game was more or less over at halftime. It's just a matter of what score it was going to be. Lions were there. I don't think they even bothered sending their best development players. We were saying last week that we say it's up to home advantage, 5 points, all that. They were 15 points now at that stage in that game. But
They didn't even send their head coach.
To be honest with you, I was surprised by the gap and stuff like that.
Were you surprised just fucking won, Danny?
No, I'm surprised. I'm surprised we won that much. To be honest with you.
Right. You just actually won the fucking game. Brilliant.
No, not really. That's surprised. At honest. We got a double win over the weekend, so to be honest, that goal comes in.
There you go. Right.
Happy out.
Right. I didn't see the game myself, to be honest, but like that again, as everybody else has kind of said, like, you know, it was a solid win for Munster. It seems pretty apparent that the South African teams aren't a bit like last year, not great in their travels, but when they get warmed up, they're a real force to be reckoned with. So the return leg will say an awful lot as much, you know, for where Munster probably are in the season as much how good, bad, or indifferent the Lions are. Moving on to Connacht versus the Sharks. Ray, did you see the game?
I saw most of that game, not all of it now, but it's the same sort of thing. I know it wasn't a full strength Sharks team, but you know, Connacht played the same sort of rugby as they've been playing. It's compact, it's effective. They did what they had to do, and they beat what was in front of them. It's you know, to be 19-0 up at halftime was brilliant. You know, but I say South African teams don't seem to go that well in the west or the south of Ireland, like whether it be the weather or what, I don't know, but they played what was in front of them. They played the rugby they've been playing and were really, really effective.
Right. Peter Burke.
Yes, I think the issue with this particular game was Connacht suffered from Ulster-itis in the sense that they fucking collapsed and played shite in the second 40. Ulster can't do it. Connacht nearly fucking lost that game. James Grennan. I'm looking at you. They ran in 2 fucking tries. Grennan, I'm telling you now, you can laugh all you want.
It was 24-0 at 60 minutes, Peter.
Yeah, it was.
The job was done.
Yeah, I know. And then what happened?
Yeah, the job was done. Yeah, there was a few soft tries. Yeah, a little bit disappointing that they didn't put the foot on the throat, but job was done.
I know, but
Ray said,
all right. What I'm saying to you is that if you're
who took the jam out of your donut this evening, Peter? You're in bad form. Who took the jam out of your donut?
No, I'm not. I'm not on my usual self. But come here to me. No, what I was going to say to you was that Connacht played well. They played great rugby in the first 40. Second half, I don't know what the fuck happened or what was said, but as you said, James, 2 easy tries being run in. That shouldn't have happened. Like the Connacht should have closed that out within 20 minutes to go. At the 60th minute, Connacht should have been well ahead, comfortable and stuff. But no, that wasn't the case.
I agree with you. And there was a third try that was disallowed.
Yeah.
So, you know, it could have been a lot closer, but it was 60 minutes in before they scored a point or even got to lay the glove on us. No, I didn't get to the match. I saw the second half. I was listening to the first half on the radio, but I've looked back at it since, a replay of it, and very notable that Mac Hansen nearly did again what he did to the French at the kickoff. He was within millimeters of scoring a try within seconds. So yeah, he's just something else, that guy.
Did you pull out the red breast, James?
Hey?
Did you pull out the red breast?
I did. I had a little.
Fucking keep playing like that, you'll be bloody down in the bottle every match. Bad for your health. Bad for your health.
That's a fine whiskey to drink in every match.
It's good for the circulation. It is a fine whiskey, Ray. I have to agree with you there.
Right. Claire, did you see this game?
No. I seen little amount of rugby at the weekend.
Claire saw fuck all rugby and she's just sitting
I
there.
actually seen the Ulster game.
Oh, all right.
I'm very sorry.
Okay, we'll move on quickly. Matt.
Yeah, I watched it. Like the lads have said there, you know, playing a half strength fucking Shark squad, like Connacht played well. Look, they won the match, but I think if that had been a full strength Shark squad, it could have been a different game altogether. I'm not saying they would have won, but you know, it definitely would have been a lot closer. And I'd say you know, going up 19 points, maybe 24 points to nil, it pretty much was over at that stage. But it's kind of annoying to let kind of 2 tries in towards the final and towards the end of the match. Like, it's not really. It's a bit of a fucking after kick, you know, like it's just a bit of a kick in the balls after, you know. I mean, they could have easily kept it to nil, you know. I thought Sharks would have won that, saying last week, but as I said, I hope I eat my words, and you know, I'm happy to see that Connacht win, but again, half strength Sharks squad.
The Sharks brought a second string team, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
They did,
Yeah.
and their assistant coach became the head coach for the match. So
That's right, yeah. So look, I mean, it could have been a different game, but at the end of the day, as Rhea said previously, you played a team in front of you, they won, they got the points. Simple as.
yeah, fair enough. Danny,
Didn't see the game at all. Caught a few minutes at the end of it. From what was said, game should have been over. Connacht, I suppose, need to kind of stay away from the entire 80 if they're going to concede potentially 21 points in that space of time. But yeah, the try that was disallowed, rightfully disallowed. But that's the only probably real action I took notice of on that fair play call.
yeah,
And thankfully that rule was changed that you can do a TMO review after the conversion.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually. I didn't know. I didn't realise that.
Yeah,
A lot of people
because
don't.
other than that, you were going, what in the name of sweet divine fuck was Carty and Porch at?
Exactly.
That wasn't a time to play fucking rugby. You know, that was the time to boot the ball straight to touch and go easy on James Grennan's pocket as regards buying bottles of red breast.
There you go.
Look, my own opinion, I saw most of that match, and like, it was funny, the commentators' course struck again. They spoke about how Connacht had the highest wins, they had the highest completion of their scrums or something like that, statistically up in that point. And what happens? I do think the referee had a hand to play in it, insofar as I thought the referee was poor. The Sharks fucked and farted about this thing they've introduced this year as regards speeding it up. The referee wasn't doing it, and it was definitely, you know, I can't remember who was captain of the night, but they should have been basically getting in the referee's ear and basically tapping the wrist, saying, "Come on, like, you know, there's supposed to be speed. Let's speed it up." The South Africans played the game at their own bloody pace, and the referee allowed them. The second thing then was, of course, that the South African tight head, I think he was boring illegally, because Shane Delahunt's head was popping up. It was like the Punch and Judy show, that fucking front row with Connacht. It was bloody ridiculous. They're getting absolutely minced. Now, I do think, as I said, I do think it was illegal, but look, nothing was happening. I thought, what's her name, who's doing co-commentary, thought Shane Delahunt was very high in the scrum. Look, that, I don't know. I think that happens once or twice. You get a little bit too high, and then you sort it out. You just, you know, you get it sorted after one or two scrums. It was happening continuously, so I didn't agree with that necessarily.
She
But like
didn't have a
that,
lot of bad things to say about Connacht in her commentary. She had nothing good to say about Connacht. She was very anti-Connacht in her commentary, I thought.
yeah, she was being a bit unfair, I thought, like, you know. But
Who was commentating?
was it Lindsay Pete?
Yeah, I think
Lindsay, all right, okay. Because you know, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
anyway, look, Connacht got the win. That was, I suppose, that's the main thing. I thought Ford was very good as, you know, a number 12. He normally plays 10, James, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like he went away with the Merge in Ireland team. And it was like his first, I stand to be corrected, but I think that was his first start since that tour.
Yeah.
So fair play to him to come out and produce a performance like that, probably slightly out of position. But, you know, he took his opportunity and he did well, unlike Harry Byrne for Leinster. We're finally coming to the last match that we all want to have a good chat with Ray about. Danny, the Ulster Benetton match. We'll start with you. Did you see it?
I didn't see it. I didn't even see highlights of that game, so.
Say, Danny, you were looking at fucking heifers all weekend, were you?
I was watching the women's interpros as well, excuse you.
You were looking at the women.
Yeah,
You're looking at the women. It's all right. Just
yeah.
say that. That's all you have to say. You're looking at the women. That's fine. And we'll come to that,
Yeah,
Danny.
just the
Don't
women's
worry. We'll come to it.
I had to miss
We'll have a
that.
heifer special one week, just for you.
Matt, yourself and Danny can organise that one yourselves.
Look, sure, I wouldn't fucking know the top end to our tail end of a fucking heifer by any stretch of the imagination.
Matt, you can tell the difference between a pair of kitchen and a pair of balls. You know the difference between the bull and the heifer.
I'm sure you do, Danny. You're probably fucking playing with them enough.
Go on.
Right, go great spake off something like that. Go on.
Claire Devaney, you saw this match, didn't you?
I did. I see how Macron's saying. Couple of things. Rhino Smith has some boot on him from inside the halfway and booted the ball and just turned new. He got it. Yeah, I think also I don't know. My friend, I met a girl in New Zealand, Rosie. So she's actually a member of the page. She was over there. Spread all over the TV as usual. Just I don't really know. I know Rhino Smith. The two things I remember in the match is Rhino Smith from the halfway line, and the 11 literally getting chucked over the try line by the 13 in the corner. He wasn't running fast enough, and the 13 came behind him and literally pushed him over the line to score the try. They shouldn't have given away the penalty. That's all I'm going to say in the last minute. That's yeah. I feel sorry. I feel sorry. Not even feel sorry. What's that? 5 out of 6 they've lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, is Dan McFarlane going to be seen as P45 soon? Do the fans want him to go? That's a question too.
That's something I was going to have a chat about later.
Yeah, we're definitely we're going to save you, Ray, to last, so you can have your bit to say on that. James Grennan.
Yeah, so most of this game, all right, yeah. Agree with Claire that was hilarious. Your man getting pushed over the try line to score in the corner. Absolutely hilarious. Yeah, look, Ulster don't seem to be able to buy a win at the minute. They should have, like, okay, they were playing away from home, yeah, blah blah blah, 5-point difference, whatever. But they should have. They had ample opportunity to win that game, ample opportunity, and then to foolishly give away a penalty, at the 80th minute to lose the game, like it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. So don't know what's going on there, and I'm looking forward absolutely at the end here to hear Ray's comments on the stewardship there and what's coming down the track. So yeah, very very poor from Ulster.
Okay, Peter Burke.
Yeah, I thought Ulster were fucking shite. There's no fucking question. There's no getting away from it. Ulster were fucking shite, right? They should have won that game. As James said, Peter, you said, Matt said, whoever. Jesus Christ. Ulster are fourth in the table at the moment. They should have won that game. They should have won that fucking game. And that penalty oh my God almighty, would just fucking stop. Get away the fuck. Right. Ray, you're an Ulster supporter. I'm gonna say to you now, your team is shit. And you need to get something going. Because I mean, for Claire, what was it? 5 out of the last 6?
5 out of the last 6 they've lost.
5 out of the last 6 you've lost, right?
And they're going up against La Rochelle this weekend, which is going to be a very tough game.
Yeah, and like La Rochelle coming up, like for fuck's sake, lads. Ray, La Rochelle, you're fucked.
It's bad, like
it is bad. It is bad. But I just it was so annoying to watch Ulster lose that. Because they shouldn't have lost it. It was just so annoying to lose. I can't.
That's the way it's been lately.
Ray, go ahead.
I would say the same. I would say the same with the Munster match. As the last one. Absolutely should have won and didn't. Like, threw that game away. 5 out of 6. lost. The last time that Ulster played any rugby was the first half against Leinster. You know, they played a good 40 minutes against Leinster, got absolutely shell-shocked by Leinster's bench in the second half, and have played nothing since. Hiding off Sale. And, you know, I know results are close. You know, there's a couple of games there have been, 2-3 points here and there, but it's the results aren't the problem. It's the performance. There's games there that should be won, like the weekend, that aren't being won. As I said earlier, it's Leinster, the example of this weekend. You know, played shite, won the game. Ulster just can't seem to do that. The man, they can't win. It's a thing. It's in the team to win. You know, you can win when you're not playing well, and I think it comes down to right from the top down, from the management into the leadership group and down to the players. And I really am starting to think that there's a problem either right at the top in management or in the core leadership group. This Ulster team just do not seem to have in them a spine or a backbone that's there to win a game. I don't know if any of you would disagree with this. I think there's players in big positions that just aren't standing up. I'll put two names to it. At the minute, I don't think Ulster are getting enough from a marquee signing like Vermeulen. I don't think Billy Burns is making an account of anyone that should be a starting 10 at an Irish club. 18 months ago, Peter, you might disagree with this. I think there was a conversation about Mike Lowry challenging Hugo Keenan for the Irish 15 jersey. Where's that gone?
No.
He's playing nothing at the minute.
No.
I think the biggest problem the Ulster are having are in closing out a game and poor decision making and poor game management. And I think a lot of that is coming down to Billy Burns, but especially after John Cooney isn't on the field or goes off the field. He's just been left to make decisions in a more senior role and not standing up to it and making poor decisions. And it's just costing Ulster in the last 15-20 minutes of games at the minute.
So Ray, you feel then, just taking from what you're saying there, you feel it's a combination of the coaching setup, as well as the personnel on the team, the leadership group, that they're just not getting it right.
Oh, I always think, that has to be part of it. There's always the individual. If 15 individuals play the best that they can in a day, they should come out and win a game if they have, the right game plan in place. But I think there's a problem there too, where Ulster seem a bit rudderless. The attack is a bit stagnant. McCluskey's taking ball from standing starts and doing what McCluskey does. He usually gets over the gain line and he'll get you a yard, so you get moved on. But it's happening too often that he's not. Then defense, just look, there's an example from the weekend where Benetton scored a try. Billy Burns run into James Hume in defense off first phase and falls on his ass, and a try scored from it. These things shouldn't be happening in professional rugby teams.
It's funny, Ray, you mentioned the attack being stagnant. Johnny, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Johnny Bell has come on this season. He has replaced what's his name as attack coach?
Dave.
Who?
Dave.
Season before.
Dwayne Peel, was it? Yeah. Would it be fair to say, I've noticed myself, and this is I've seen this on various different, podcasts and articles online, that once Ulster don't get their driving maul going, if that doesn't, it basically they effectively it comes to crap, like that they've nothing in the backs. Is it? I'm just wondering, putting it to you, Ray, as an Ulster fan, is it a question that Johnny Bell has come in as attack coach? It hasn't gone well, and Dan McFarland has said, right, we can't trust our attack through the backs, so we'll just keep it in the forwards. We have a very solid, very threatening line-out maul. We'll get our points through that.
That definitely seems to be, the big weapon. It's been holding things up. You only look at Stewart and the amount of tries he's scoring, and Rob Herring scoring off the back of mauls.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to be happening. It seems to be round first phase. If it comes off a line out or comes off a scrum, nothing is happening. You're getting stopped on the gain line, or McCluskey makes a yard, reset, and then it's pick and go or one phase out every time until there's a kick. You know, God forgive me, it's a very South African game, but not executed very well. And I hate to put names in, but I really, really think Billy Burns just is not, you know, executing from that. Because we know what
He's not, Ray, you're right, he's not. Billy Burns isn't, he's fucking shite. He's not a 10, he's not a 15, he's not anything. He should stay in the bench. Billy Burns on the bench, shut the fuck up, stay where you are, and don't come on.
Make your feelings known there, Pete.
No, but you know me, I don't mince my words, I don't sit in the fence. But yeah, no, Ray, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Well, we know what Cooney does. Cooney does what Cooney does. He gives you good fast ball.
Yeah.
We know what McCluskey does. We know what Hume does. You know, it's only last season, and I don't really know what the changes, unless, as you say, it is at the management level. That, you know, last year that center combination was making lightning breaks, you know, to and fro every game, and it's just not happening. Has the attack not moved on enough, and they've been found out by the defensive organizations of other teams, maybe? Or are they just not executing? But it just seems like it's not happening off first phase, and then everything from then on is stagnant. So trying to milk penalties, get to the corner, get that line-out ball, and that's what's saving and scoring a lot of tries.
But Ray, is that a coaching issue or is that a player issue?
I think, you know, what has changed is that attack coach is the change since last year. You know, most of the coaching setup has been the same other than that. And last year played some really good rugby. I know it didn't come to much. That's the Ulster way, in fairness. You know, you play good rugby, but you lose the big games. We've come to expect that from Ulster, but now we're losing all the games. You know, it's not just the big games against top opposition anymore. It's losing games like Benetton, losing close games to Munster, who didn't play particularly well that day.
Yeah.
Getting absolutely hockeyed by Sale. You know,
to be nailed at this level is unforgivable.
I know there are things you could say about the travel disruption in that game, but to me, bollocks to that. Like, you still go and make some sort of account of yourself, and they did not stand up that day in any way. As I say, I think it's big players, the likes of Vermeulen, who have been brought in, you know, as a marquee signing. When's the last time you saw a man of the match performance from him in the way that you did from Kutsia when he was at Ulster? Like, I don't think that money has been particularly well spent. And an older, injured South African who has been absolutely brilliant in his day, but what has he done for Ulster?
Yeah, I would agree with an awful lot of what you're saying, Ray, is that you don't see Vermeulen kind of dragging them, kind of, you know, almost like he's not being talismanic, to use the term, in his performances. He's turning up, he seems to be putting it in, but you know, perhaps
he's quite good. But that's always been his role for South Africa. Is he's been a defensive organizer, but the defense has been shite.
He's nearly as useless for Ulster as Snyman has been for Munster.
Yeah. I know we've got
there's
more
one of them
minutes
on
out
the
of him.
pitch.
Or Carty for Connor.
Just to jump in there, like, because talking about like Ulster as a Leinster fan, it's fucking so frustrating to watch a potentially good side just fucking fall apart at the 12th hour. Like, you know, if I was a fucking Ulster fan, I'd be banging my head against the wall because, like you said, you know,
this is
no spine, no game management, not being able to finish the game, you know, and sadly to say, I fucking predicted Benetton to win because I didn't think, you know, just going on their last performances and kind of looking at Benetton and how they've progressed over the last few years, I just had a feeling that they were going to win. But like looking at that last fucking few minutes of that game where they got the penalty try, were 1 point in the lead, you know, just should have just seen that game off. They had the extra man, and then to give away the penalty, like, and then fucking booted it, like, but like, Jesus Christ, I'd have fucking slit my wrist watching that.
This is the problem. I think it is decision making and game management on the field in the last 20 have cost over the last 6-7 games. And, you know, you can talk about management and changes in management, but those 15 players are on that field, close out a game if you're in front. They're a point ahead with minutes left with an extra man. It's criminal.
And they're well, like, and the funny thing is, they're fucking well able to do it, like they should be, you know.
Should be is the way I would put it.
Like basically this time last year, we were talking about and everybody is not just ourselves here, but Ulster were the second best team amongst the provinces. And I myself had this feeling that there's a bit more to come from this Ulster team. Like the playing personnel is largely the same. And as we've already covered, the attack coach, Johnny Bell, has come in. I would say myself that, you talk about, Ray, you mentioned about how maybe the opposition have figured out Ulster's attack. Basically, everybody tends to play the same pretty much style of rugby. If you've got similar players, in my opinion, if you've got similar players, you play the style of rugby will be basically around the same. You'll either have good forwards and your weak backs, or vice versa, and you play to those strengths. I think the difference is the detail that the coach is going into and drawing it out of the players. There's the standard obviously not being set in training where, stuff has been made, there's mistakes being made, balls are being dropped in pressure situations, which is your contact.
Yeah.
And it's not obviously being addressed. Whatever, the players, it's obviously happening in training, but it's happening unfortunately as well on the pitch. And like, it should stop at the training session. Like if you run a drill 2 or 3 times or a few phrase plays or something like that, and it's not quite clicking, you stop and you say, right, what exactly is happening here? It's the small margins about straightening a line. Like even like just to talk about, just the difference I feel like in Leinster's attack is this year, since Andrew Goodman has come in, you don't see the wraparound, the trademark wraparounds when Sexton's there, where the ball comes out the 10 and there's a loop around and it goes out the back. You're not seeing that. I feel that Leinster are doing an awful lot more straight, where their back line are running straighter, I think, than they've ever done.
Yeah.
And it's incredible, like, when you talk about when you run a straight line and you're able to basically be brave and basically offload your pass at the right time to your teammate, the holes just appear. And that was exactly what I felt what happened with Hugo Keenan's try against the Ospreys. Like my wife was sitting there watching and says, and her remark was, that looked easy. And it absolutely was, because all the other bits that came up before Keenan could pass and ran through the gap, they were all running straight lines. It's basic, it's A, B, fucking C rugby. Run straight lines, take the contact, be brave, as you'd say to kids. And this is what I feel, this is what's happened. But the detail is missing. It falls off a little bit. And, that's my own opinion as regards Ulster, is that no one is driving a standard.
I agree with you. I would have grown up where I came from. There was no rugby. I didn't start playing rugby till college, where I played GA, where Jim McGuinness, who went on to be Donegal manager and won All Ireland for Donegal, was our club manager at an underage level. And his thing was, what you do in training, you will do in a game. So he would not leave a training session if something hadn't been right. You practice until not that you won't make a mistake, but until you can't make a mistake. What you're doing so well that you will not make a mistake when the pressure's on. And I don't see that in Ulster at the minute the same way. Even Benetton at the weekend, as you say, their deception in their first phase play, standing up the Ulster players and making them stand and wait. They're getting over the contact line because they were not knowing who to tackle. The deception was there that wasn't in the Ulster play. When Billy Burns gets the ball in his hand, it's going to be a ball back inside or it's going to be a McCluskey. That's it. McCluskey tends to get over by a yard at the minute. But that's the size of him. The ball inside isn't really working. So what are you going to do with that? You're not going to win games at this level playing that as your attacking strategy. Like when you're playing, you see the teams like Leinster and even the Ospreys at the weekend. I actually thought their first phase play was quite good. And that's something to say, because their backs are, should we say, not the greatest.
They're shite. Just say it. We're fine here with that. Just say it. They're shite.
This is the Donegal of me. I'm too nice to say hateful things.
Just say they're fucking shite, for fuck's sake, Ray. Come on, the fuck.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
Work will make up for you anyway. Don't worry about it.
I saved that for talking about Connacht.
Field.
I didn't say, James. I didn't say it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yes, I was thinking-
as a bad note, the only other thing I really did want to say, I didn't get to say, and I think everyone will appreciate this. I think the worst thing to come out of the Ulster game at the weekend is the injury to Marty Moore. I
Yeah.
think
yeah,
that man has been absolutely exceptional this year, playing the
Yeah.
best rugby
Brilliant
since
Leinster
he was
player.
at Leinster.
Really
And,
good Leinster player, yeah.
You know, it's horrible. You know, he didn't deserve it for how well he's playing. You know, I
Yeah,
wish
well,
him the best.
the way it is, he's got himself back in the Irish picture.
Yeah.
I don't know what has he done, because I remember for years I'd be looking at him and saying he's a fucking penalty machine. He looks like he spends too much time having takeaways. Like he's overweight. He looks overweight, and he didn't look fit. Plus,
I
looking
don't
at
think
his stats.
is he really back in the Irish scene, Pete?
But he
went on
played
that-
against the All Blacks.
Yeah.
The All Blacks 15 in
15.
Yeah, I know,
RDS.
but I mean, like the national squad, is he really back
Really,
in
like,
there?
Look at
He's
the
an
way he's
option.
played, in fairness. Like, who is there, you know,
Yeah.
beyond the players that are obviously in front of him, the Furlongs and the Beelams? You know, is there anyone in Munster at the minute that
No.
John Ryan
No.
is
No.
he ahead of him?
No.
That's
I'd
that's
say
that's a
he's pretty
conversation.
well.
To be fair,
John
Ray,
Ryan
the
is not, no.
conversation about
Yeah.
tie heads props in Munster can go on and on and on, and that could basically go a whole fucking different direction now, because there's a real problem there. Like Munster,
The last good tight head Munster had came from Ulster. It was BJ Botha.
and he wasn't
Oh,
even
yeah,
born
yeah.
there. He's a bloody South
Yeah.
African.
I know.
Botha.
Yeah.
We're
There
at
you go.
55 minutes, I think, Pete.
What?
We're at about 55 minutes, I think.
Oh, where are
I
we?
was
All right,
looking at-
Jesus Christ. Go on, Peter Martin. Come on, you're the host. Go on, control this shit.
Troll this shit. Do we have a few? Go on, or at your pub?
About 5 minutes left here.
Go on.
Jesus Christ. Will we finish up with have a very brief chat coming back to what we kind of hinted about as regards Sexton and the 10 jersey?
Yeah. What about it? What's the question? Go on.
Well, seeing as it's been spoken about as, like, you know, Sexton to play any part in the Six Nations.
No.
I think he'll want to. I think he'll want to, because I tell you what.
Of course he wanted. He's a stubborn fucker.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like me, Matt.
They want to break that 6 nation record. And in
He's
fact,
got a
he's
suitcase handle hanging out the side of his head at the moment.
Yeah, he's like a cook.
yeah, but
He's someone has a compared to the cook.
Hold up like that.
Yeah,
O'Gara
he's like
in the Irish points record. So I'd say he'll want to play as many games as he can to try and break those few records if he can. So I'd say he'll want to play part in some few games at least anyway. Because that's what.
That's his personality. Like, he every minute.
Like, here's the thing: are you going to stick him in against England, which is the last game of the Six Nations?
Oh, he'd love that. If there's a slam on the line, he'll want to fucking play that game.
Yeah,
Exactly,
he would,
Pete.
he would
Exactly, Pete. Exactly, Pete.
He
Yes.
would love that, but is it good for him knowing that Farrell could take him out with a shoulder tackle? Because we know how Farrell can rap.
Will he still have the teapot handle on the side of his head?
Not
Yeah,
only is
like-
it good for him, is it good for Ireland?
Is it
You know,
good for
if
him?
we get to
Is
the
it good
point
for
of having
Ireland?
a slam decider against England, and then you're bringing back in Sexton, are you not reinforcing a point to the player that's got you to the point of being in the Grand Slam decider? That
Yeah.
how long
That's
you're
true.
still not there?
Yeah,
And
that is
are you
absolutely true.
Are you taking the chance of getting him injured in the, like, if he takes a severe knock, he could be
Yeah.
out for the World Cup? Like,
We've seen how many World Cup cycles have we seen where we've ended up where a couple injuries cost us, and is there any other position, and there isn't, like, on the Irish team that makes as big a difference if one man is injured?
I think
You
it's
were
very,
saying
very.
behind
I think it's such a topic at the moment, the 10 jersey, because we have Sexton and at the international level, and we have a significant gap to those beneath. There's promise there. I think we can all agree on that. But even when you look at provincial level, there's a significant problem. We've already touched on what's going on with Ulster. Billy Burns is just not up to it. He's a club 10 and nothing else.
Yeah.
But yet and all, he still seems to be doing enough. You know, when you have the likes of young Jake Flannery, who was basically shipped up to Ulster to get game time, he's got nothing. I think he's played an A game at 12 or something. Then you look at Munster, where they've allowed Ben Healy to go to Scotland. Granted, he wants to play rugby and he wants to play for Scotland probably, so best of luck to him. But it still means that there's a numbers issue with Munster when Carberry and Crowley are away.
Yeah.
Because who sits in the 10 jersey? Like, there's talk about, you know, there was this rumor about getting what's his name, Marks in as a hooker. Like, for fuck's sake, what are they thinking? What are they smoking down in Munster? They need to actually go and get a foreign 10 to play the matches when the other two boys are away.
If he's Irish qualified, yes. If
Yeah,
he's
but this
Irish
is the
qualified,
thing.
they would be allowed, yeah.
Where are you going to get a foreign 10 that's Irish qualified that's worth having?
That's your side of the market.
Is
Yeah,
it,
sorry,
it could be the likes of Peter Nelson to come back. You know, who else is there?
Yeah.
You know, is there a lot of players that the IRFU are going to let Munster bring in to 10 to such a position when we have a problem at 10? You know, I don't see the IRFU letting that happen.
See, this is the issue that Nucifora, love him or loathe him, he's actually addressed, and he's kind of said that we're not too far away in the present time of having an issue about young players getting game time, and he has said that he's most worried about England getting them because they have the number of, they've what, 12 professional teams, assuming they don't go all wallop, that can give game time and give 80 minutes to a decent Irish player. We've got 4 provinces.
Is it time to bring in London Irish as the 5th?
This is the question. Would a 5th province work for
Would London
people to
Irish
get
work
more
as
game
the
time?
5th province?
No, so
Well,
it's not with the RFU involved. Not with the RFU involved.
But the other issue is, which was mooted, but it's probably a little bit laughable, really, is for the IRFU to purchase a team in the Premiership. I don't necessarily see it, you know, based on the figures, because I saw there online that the likes of London Irish are the 3rd worst financial position of the teams. They've a debt of 30 million and they're only bringing in 10, so that's a 66% loss they're making.
Yeah.
But like
That's
all
a taking
the
time
teams in
bomb.
the English Premiership are on money, but like there's
Will
none of
you
them
be a
have-
Premiership there in a matter of years?
yeah.
Like, if you were an investor yourself, would you put your money in any of the
No.
fucking chance.
No.
Not a chance. So like,
No.
that's I think that's just pissing against the wind.
Peter Martin, I think we're nearly up on the hour mark, I'd say.
Yeah.
That a lot of investors, I'd say, are looking at Premiership rugby and they're avoiding that like avoid to sell it back, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Yeah.
haircut 100 for that.
No problem, Bobby, 100.
Yeah, no worries. That's why I'm wearing a cap.
That a dig at me, Danny?
Yeah, the reflection of the ball that you were talking, the driver from bed.
Right, go
Sorry,
on.
what was that?
Just before we finish, good luck to all the provinces in the Heineken Cup and Challenge Cup weekend.
Oh, Danny, we never covered Danny, we never covered the women's interpros.
I know.
Can you do it in 2 minutes?
Go.
No, but if I do the individual tomorrow, if Sarah's in Toronto.
Yeah.
Sarah's
So I
going to
played
do
Everton.
tomorrow about it, yeah.
Danny can't do anything in 2 minutes.
That's not what I heard.
It took me a lot longer to get that done. I have a lot of things to do.
I'm sure you could give something to a heifer or a sailor in 2 minutes.
Right, go on.
I see
Well,
that.
Can't say one
Say-
thing.
Right, guys. Look, it's been a very good evening. It's been a fantastic conversation. Thanks to Ray for joining us. I hope we'll
Thanks,
see
Ray.
you on again soon. It was
Man, Ray.
great to chat to
Anytime,
you.
guys.
Great to have
Thank
another
you
host
for having me.
voice on.
Come on, Ray.
Actually,
So
we'll
with
leave
that-
our predictions for next week in the comments.
Say that again?
What?
We'll leave our predictions for the weekend's games in the comments. Since you don't have time to cover.
Yeah,
that's-
we did.
that's- yeah, we did. Yeah, fuck that.
I don't
anyway,
know if I
so
want
just
to
thanks for that, Danny,
prediction
for
on
reminding us.
Yeah, exactly, Pete, exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Danny. You fucking idiot.
The horse is supposed to have one step out, but you're too busy waffling.
Would you go on?
Saying, can I have a translation?
I look, the
I don't
subtitles are
understand
giving
what
up
you
again.
said.
Like, it's just manic. It's fucking zoo on here. Anyway, folks, it's been fantastic having. It's been a great night tonight. Great conversation. unfortunately, we are at a time limit and so on. So, look, with that, adios, amigos. Again, thanks to Ray for coming on. We'll hope to see you again soon.
Anytime,
And of
lads.
course, this video chat thing will end up on our channels.
Good
Night,
luck.
night.
Guys, Pete.
Bye.
Good job. Good job. Good job.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.